Okay, so I saw this on Twitter. They said best 2002 album. So my pick definitely got to be Brandy Full Moon. I think that this is her best album, one of my R&B albums, and certainly best album of the year for sure. And so I mean, there's a lot of highlights on this thing. I mean, When You Touch Me is her best song in my opinion. Amazing vocals and vocal layering on there. I love the production; it was perfectly suited for her voice, and I like the lyrics on there too. He is a great gospel moment, very powerful to listen to. What About Us was a great lead single, all on me and all the different parts that it has. I was here for it. It's Not Worth It has always been one of my favorites on this album. Wow is an underrated gem, as is Come a Little Closer. So there's a lot to like in this album. The only song I don't care for is the one that she did with Ray J, Die Without You, but that's because he ruins pretty much everything, so it's to be expected. But I just think that her and Dark Child were really in their bag with this one, and I just love them as a creative force. So they did what had to be done. Great electro R&B album and moment. You either get it or you don't, and I'm sorry she ate down with this album, so that's my number one pick. And then if I had to extend it a little bit, number two, I'm gonna give it to Mariah Carey Charm Bracelet. You know, this is probably one of my most played Mariah albums. And so some of my favorite songs, The One, that is one of my favorite Mariah Carey songs all time. Definitely should have been a single. And I also really love Clown. What a great moment that was. Songwriting, it was just skating. She did what had to be done. Sunflowers for Alfred Roy is definitely a tearjerker for sure. That's one that she wrote for her dad, and so that's very an emotional piece there, and I like the writing on there a whole lot. And then Yours is a magical piece to listen to as well. I adore Lullaby. That's one of my favorites on this album. My Saving Grace was certainly a moment. So there's a lot of highlights on this for me. And then rounding it out at number three, I'm definitely going to have to go with The Chicks, Home. And I just think this is a great country album. I'm typically not a country listener, but I make an exception for them. And so I just think they make a lot of great stuff. The title track is just absolutely gorgeous to listen to. I like the harmonies there. Traveling Soldier is just a song about soldiers at war. And you know, the fact that it Traveling Soldier is a heartbreaking piece talking about soldiers at war, them passing away, and just how it affects people globally. And I think there's just a lot in that song. I like the dobro solo a lot on there as well. They did a cover of Landslide that I actually really quite enjoyed as well. So yeah, there's a lot that I really do go up for on this album. It's one of their best albums. So that's going to be my three. I like the Aaliyah album. I do. It's mainly a compilation album of stuff that she released on her other albums, but you know, I do like it. And I will also give honorable mentions to Christina Aguilera Stripped. Some of my favorite songs on this album: Love Underappreciated, Walk Away, great jazzy piece. I kind of wish she would do more stuff like that. And Can't Hold Us Down with Little Kim was certainly a favorite for me, and obviously Fighter. There were some, you know, low moments on there, like whenever she did Soar and Make Me Over and that other song, like that 3 track run, one of the worst 3 track runs I've heard, and it does weaken out towards the end, but it was a good sophomore album. And then another honorable mention, Missy Elliott Under Construction, because she did what had to be done. And, you know, these other albums, I really need to get to listening to them. Like, I really want to hear Avril Lavigne, particularly, and Celine. I'm going to get to those at a certain point. But, you know, those are just my picks based on the ones that I've heard. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments and what your top three would be.